and welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining in. Kindly like this video and also subscribe to keep me motivated as we embark on this culinary journey together. Today we're going to be making Nigerian meat pie. Making it is quite easy. You just have to get your recipe and your measurements right. Into a bowl, I've added my flour, sugar, baking powder and salt. Then I mixed it together. I also went in with my very cold butter. I mixed the combination properly until I couldn't differentiate the flour from the butter. I also went in with 1 cold egg. Then I added my very chilled water to it and I continued to mix it together. At this point, my dough was ready, so I transferred it to a flat surface and proceeded to knead for another 2 minutes. You don't want to over knead your dough so that your meat pie crust is not hard. After I was done kneading for 2 minutes, I wrapped it up with a cling and set it aside in the fridge for about 30 to 40 minutes. Into a saucepan, I went in with my oil, onions. I got my minced meat from Spar. You can get it from any shop or any outlet that you desire. You need to continuously stir your beef so it continues to cook and it does not burn. An indication that your beef is getting ready is when the color starts to change from pink to brown. I added my preferred herbs and spices, and the one major ingredient you don't want to miss out on when it comes to your meat pie filling is your curry powder. I also added my carrots. I went in with my Irish potato. I mixed it together and I put in some water in it to let it cook. I covered it for a while, and after I was sure that it was softened and ready, I decided to add 1 spoonful of all-purpose flour to my filling and it was ready. At this stage, the dough that I set aside in the fridge was ready, so I brought it out. I divided it into 4 because you don't want to flatten all your dough at the same time. You don't want to overwork the dough, so you have to go one at a time. From this video, you can see that I'm working with 1 portion at a time. I kneaded it for about 1 minute, then I proceeded to flatten it. I didn't flatten it too thin because I didn't want my crust to be too flat and then while I'm baking it breaks. So I flattened it a bit and decided to use my meat pie cutter to cut it out. If you don't have this, you can always use a round plate or the cover of a round pot, just something that can cut your dough, that can work into your dough. After I was done cutting it, I placed it on my meat pie cutter. I added my filling, then I brushed it with raw egg. As you can see from this video, look at it, it looks just good. And then you have to continue this process until you are finished working on all of your dough. You also want to make sure you're not throwing away your excess dough. As you can see here, I put together all the excesses that I got after cutting from the initial process, and then I kneaded them together, and I repeated the process of kneading my dough, flattening it, and then cutting it into the desired round shape that I want. As you can see, this is it from the video. I didn't throw it out, and my dough was soft and it gave me exactly what I needed. I brushed it with some raw egg and I covered it and it came out looking good. As you can see, I'm showing you the bottom. It didn't break despite the fact that I had to put together the excesses that I took out initially. As you can see, you have to follow through with the recipe so you can have your desired result. So it was time for me to brush everything that I got. I was able to get 8 pieces of this size. I brushed everything with some egg and it was time for it to go into the oven. I set my oven at 180 degrees and I baked it for about 25 minutes and it was ready. This was it going into the oven. Shout out to Adbuchi Mix. Ever since I got this oven, my work has been a smooth ride. So if you don't have it, this is your cue for you to go and purchase one. And look at this. This reminds me of when we were growing up, the Mr. Big's standard of meat pie. Your crust being very crunchy and your meat pie filling being, it just gives everything that it's supposed to give. Thank you for watching, and at this stage, if you're still watching, kindly click on the subscribe button and also please give me a like. Thank you.